original reason they called us Chinks was I joined the gang when I was like 11. Never looked back. I got incarcerated when I was 16. I shot and killed somebody. Got heated, and it was either me or him. I've been shot twice already. I ain't trying to get shot again. I was in prison with Ronnie DeFeo. That's the guy from the Amityville Horror. Colin Ferguson, the Long Island Railroad shooter that killed 17 people. You had like real live monsters. I live with that guilt every day because his wife was pregnant at the time. His kid will never get to know the person that he was. I thought he was a good friend. I don't even know why he told on me. But then as the police was leaving, he told the police, hey, come here. She don't remember who he is, but just Google his name. His name is Richie Ng. The people that love you will pay the biggest price because it's not easy to go visit your son, your brother, your sister in prison. But even if you don't love yourself, think about the people you love and how drastically changed their life.
The story of Richie Ng is one that proves people can change no matter how far gone they seem. Richie was a Chinatown Triad gangster. And when I say gangster, I mean the real deal. He went to prison as a teenager, got out, and went right back in as an adult. At a young age, Richie was the one out on the streets making a name for his gang. Richie isn't just another ex-convict trying to stay out of trouble. He's now an actor. And this episode isn't about some redemption story where a guy cleans up and plays it safe. Richie got vulnerable and exposed something most gangsters would never admit. When you listen to this, you're going to see a side of a gangster life that nobody talks about. Richie's story is about the humanity behind the headlines and the transformation that happens when someone commits wholeheartedly to change. Richie, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now, I don't know too much about the Asian culture and all that, and I don't think a lot of people do, unless they're Asian, right? Mm-hmm. But Triad. Were you a Triad? Or what's the meaning of that?
Well, the word Triad is really funny. There's no specific gang called the Triads. It's just a label that law enforcement puts on organized crime or whatever. I want to say that it's like the word mafia. Like, it's not just Italians that's mafia. Mafia is just a group of people that commit crimes together. They organize.
Got it.
And they just say that Chinese are triads when really there's no gang called the Triads. You know what I'm saying? Gangs have different names, you know?
Got it.
You know?
So you grew up in Chinatown, New York.
Yes.
And you went away at the age of 16?
Yes.
And you got an 18-year piece, an 18-year bit that you had to do.
Yes.
Right? And you did 18 years inside.
Well, I didn't have an 18-year bid, but I ended up doing 18 years. I had less.
Okay, so I want you to explain your life story about growing up in Chinatown and what got you into that Chinese mafia world, if you will.
You know, honestly, I think I was just an attention whore. I just wanted attention. So, you know, I was a latchkey kid. You know, my parents, they worked hard. So they wasn't really at home much. And not blaming them. Everybody in my generation went through it, you know. But I guess I was looking for camaraderie and, you know, acceptance. You know, being Chinese growing up in America back then, it's not like now. Now it's a little bit more easier, even though you see a lot of Asian hate crimes and stuff like that. Asian hate crime been around forever. It's just everybody has a cell phone now and everybody records it. But this shit been going on forever. So back then, we used to have a lot of beef being Chinese, you know? Like, they think we came over here to steal their jobs or whatever the case may be. Whatever reason it is, it was pretty bad back then. It's a little bit better now, but it was bad back then. So a lot of Chinese kids, when they come here, a lot of them didn't speak English. So you look for people that you can communicate with and you stick together because nobody wants to get beat up. Nobody wants to be bullied, you know? So I think it all comes from being bullied, you know?
So I want to just say one thing because you touched upon something about the Chinese coming over here. The Chinese have been in the United States for many, many, many years. They actually helped build the railroads here in the United States. Yes. Originally.
Yes.
The original railroads, the Chinese were the ones who helped build it.
Yes.
First of all. So they've always been very hardworking people, that's for sure. And I'll tell you something. If you go into Chinatown and you're in a restaurant and you act up and you want to go after one of them, Those Chinese people are coming out of every angle with meat cleavers or whatever. I could tell you that. I've seen that happen in Boston.
Yes. The ones that's been here already for a while, but the newly immigrated ones, they stick to themselves. You know, especially a lot of times, a lot of them came here legally or illegally. They don't want the attention. You know, so they don't report shit to the police or whatever, and they don't even know how to. You know, like a derogatory term for Chinese people is chink, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know where that comes from when they say, "Oh, chinky." It don't come from people saying, "Oh, chinky eyes." The original reason they called us chinks was the Chinese, I don't want slaves or whatever, that built the railroads. When they used to hammer the spikes into the road, metal on metal, when it clinks, what does it sound like?
Chink.
Chink, chink,
Chink,
chink,
chink,
chink.
chink.
So that's where that term really comes from. And then because our eyes or whatever, they say chinky eyes. But that word chink is a slave term from building the railroads.
It's funny that you mentioned about slaves and the Chinese. You know, I'm Irish, and the Irish were slaves too.
Mm-hmm.
They were slaves to the English at one point.
Oh, yes.
So there's
still some
there's similarities, if you will.
Got a lot of freedom fighters out there that people don't want to acknowledge as freedom fighters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're still there.
Yeah.
But that said, tell me more about your life growing up in Chinatown.
In Chinatown? Well, I grew up in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I grew up in Brooklyn, and I joined the gang when I was like 11, and never looked back. And then I got incarcerated when I was 16.
What did you get incarcerated for?
I shot and killed somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why did you do that?
Well, I was talking to this girl. He came over, and words got exchanged. He was in a different gang. I was in a different gang, and shit got heated, and it was either me or him. And I've been shot twice already. I ain't trying to get shot again at that time. So, not justifying what I did. What I did was absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. But, no, anything after but is bullshit. I did what I did because that was the lifestyle I was in.
That's what you're learning at such a young age. How are you supposed to know at such a young age what was right or what was wrong?
Yeah, I mean,
right? You
honestly,
were just trying to. You were looking for a connection.
Yeah,
obviously.
And prison didn't scare me because when I committed my life to this gang, I knew I was either gonna die or go to jail. Jail was just a stepping stone. It was just another level of getting to where you gotta get to in the gang life.
Improving yourself.
Yeah. So honestly, the 18 years, I didn't really learn shit. I didn't learn shit because when I was in there, I was still wilding out, I was still banging, and I was still doing the same dumb shit, which is why I ended up doing more time than my original sentence because of my stupidity. And when I came out, I still didn't really learn because.
So how did let me just intervene there for a minute, please. Why did you do extra time on your time?
In there, nothing is given. I'm not gonna bow down to nobody. And being Chinese in a predominantly non-Chinese environment, you gotta do twice as much to get the same recognition as everybody else. So I had to go hard. I was fighting with police. I was doing all type of dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you do dumb shit, you gotta pay the price. And I paid the price.
Now let me ask you this: Where were you doing your time at the time?
New York State.
New York State.
Yeah.
What prison?
Man, when you're in prison over there and you fuck up, they ship you to another jail because they deem you a threat to that prison afterwards.
Yeah, they move you around. Yeah,
so
sure.
I was in like 16 different jails, 16, 17 different jails. So I've been in Attica 3 times. I was in Sing Sing, Comstock, Coxsackie, Elmira. I was in Southport 5 times.
Yeah, you were in hardcore shit.
Yeah, so
you were in the hardcore shit.
At one point.
At such a young age, by the way.
Yeah. Every jail I went to, I was always the youngest dude. Every jail I went to. Like, most of the time, I was the youngest dude. It was crazy. At that time, I didn't think it was weird or crazy because I didn't know anything different.
Right.
But now I have kids. I'm like, damn, I can't imagine my kid going through what I went through.
Right.
That shit is not normal. To be that young and to be told when to eat, sleep, and shit, and to be around like grown ass men that's adults that did like horrible crimes or whatever, and they just throw you in there and, survival of the fittest.
Let me ask you this. What was your main money maker and your main business when you were in that gang?
This is really fucking sad because my mom came up to visit me one time and she told me, she says, if you had went to jail because you had a big drug deal or whatever, you had mad money coming in and you had something to go home to, it would be not acceptable, but it could be excusable. You went to jail for your fucking pride. Like, I wasn't making no money because I'm not going to sit here and say I was a boss or leader. I was 16 years old. I was the one that was making the name for the gang. So I wasn't in it for the money. I was in it for the glory. I don't want to say glory, but for the recognition.
The recognition.
Exactly. I wanted everybody to know who I was. I wanted to be heard. I wanted to be seen. So I didn't really do it for money. When I got locked up, I probably had like $50 in my pocket. I was in a gang for like 6 years at that time, and I probably had like $50 to my name. But when you're in a gang, you don't have to pay for your food. You don't pay for nothing. Everything is given to you. Like, I didn't have to pay rent, or none of that. So.
What do you mean you didn't have to pay for anything? You didn't have to pay at a restaurant. You didn't have to pay rent at your home. You were living in?
I lived with the gang. I lived in the safe houses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't live at home. I wasn't one of them weekend warriors that only came out to go gang banging on the weekend.
So there was a housing for the gang.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I thought it was cool at that time, but thinking back, this shit was whack. You have like 6, 7 dudes living in one house. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. You live and learn.
And I'm sure everybody was on blast at that time, like, ready to rock and roll, right? Because, young guys that were always trying to prove themselves and up and coming and this and that, and we're the baddest motherfuckers on the block, right?
Yeah.
In the neighborhood, right?
Yep. Like, you get recognition and stuff like that. And I thought it was cool at one point in my life. But like I said, you live and learn. That shit is fucking corny.
So let me ask you something. I know you're on this show for a certain reason because I'm a stand-up guy.
Yes. I did my research before I came on the show. I'm not gonna get on a show that glorifies rats or telling or shit like that. You're a stand-up dude. So I respect that. There's not too many left.
I appreciate that. And you're right. I mean, there were a lot of these podcasters that are out there, and some of them have gone to prison. And they come out of prison, they do their podcasting, and they say they were not rats, but yet they have rats on their fucking show. I don't get that. I think that for me, that's a disrespect to a stand-up person, to a guy who took his punishment and accepted the responsibility for their wrongs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you bring rats on your show because why? Because you say you're a journalist? No, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Listen, I'm a journalist now too then. Mm-hmm. But I'm a journalist with integrity. I ain't gonna have a rat on my show ever. And let me tell you, if my vetting doesn't go right and there is a rat on my show, and I know that prior to him or her coming on my show, and they sit down in that chair where you're sitting now, guess what's going to happen?
You should expose them.
I'm going to expose them like no tomorrow. I'm going to expose them like no tomorrow. And that's going up on my content. So forewarning anybody, if you're a rat or you got anything like that, beware of red fucking Shea. I guarantee you. Beware of red Shea, because a rat is going to get exposed. And a rat should always be exposed, because if you're a stand-up person or you're a good person, but you know that person's a rat, you need to make sure that good person, that stand-up person knows so they don't get burned by that rat.
Yes.
Right? Am I right?
You do it once, you're going to do it again.
Thank you for coming on for that. I appreciate that, brother. True.
Like, I'm not in that lifestyle no more, but if I was, I don't want to be associated with nobody that is, like, we have a saying in Chinese, meaning if you're going to eat something salty, don't cry about being thirsty later because you chose that lifestyle. You chose that lifestyle, so why not live up to what what you claim that's who you are?
So let me ask you the difference between Chinese gangs, mafia, however you want to label it, and in America and the Chinese and the homeland.
It's a little different over there. They don't have the witness protection program in Hong Kong. Like, that's where I was born. I was born in Hong Kong. And in China, there's not as much organized crime because, Chinese government, they don't play that shit.
Government's strong.
They don't play that shit. They don't play
Well,
that.
they are the mafia.
I'm not going to say they're the
I
mafia.
am.
I'm not going to say that they're
I'm
the
saying
mafia.
it.
I'm just going to say that China does not play when it comes to crime. Like, you get caught with a bag, you get caught smoking weed over there, and you might never see the light of day. Like, they serious on that, And I guess it keeps people in check. But in Hong Kong, it was like, before 1997, Hong Kong was under British rule.
Yes.
So their legal system was a little bit different. But Hong Kong is very small. It's an island. Like, there's no running. There's no hiding. Like, you can't disappear.
I knew a Chinese guy from years ago in Boston. They claim allegedly, and I say allegedly because allegedly, right? His name was Stephen C. And he was from Hong Kong. And supposedly, allegedly, he was the boss of the Chinese years ago. They indicted Stephen C. They went after him, the U.S. government. He took off to Hong Kong. What do you know? They went after Hong Kong, and they brought him out of Hong Kong.
They will.
And he did plenty of time. He's back in Hong Kong now. Solid guy. You're in a restaurant there. He was solid guy. I respect him a lot because he was,
Yeah, I have a few friends that went on the run and went to Hong Kong. A year or two later, coming back from work, thinking everything was all right, surrounded. Like, they'll come for you in Hong Kong. If your crime was serious enough, in Hong Kong, they'll come after you.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people, I was surprised because I figured the U.S. government going in there and being able to snatch them people up and bring them back and, prosecute them. I was like, wow, I'm surprised.
Well, they have like agreements with each other.
Right.
Yeah, they'll come. They won't come on in Hong Kong to arrest you. They'll notify the law enforcement over there. They'll arrest you, and then they'll extradite you back to America.
So let me ask you this. The difference between in America is that in America, you have a lot of snitches because the U.S. government created that, right? That culture. And like, if you become a snitch in America, don't worry, we got your back. We got your back, right?
Yeah.
But in Hong Kong, it's a little different, I would say, right?
It's very different because it's so, like, Hong Kong, I don't know the exact dimensions of the land, but I know it's no bigger than New York City. So if in America, you got the witness protection program. You got 50 states they can send you to. In Hong Kong, where they gonna send you? They're gonna send you up the block? Everybody knows everybody over there. Like, it's very small over there. And the organized crime over there, is very, very strong. It's very strong because they go by the rules and stuff like that. And again, you don't really see many books.
So they live.
They live by their code.
Live by their code.
They live by their code, and it's not just out of loyalty; it's also out of fear, because, like I said, Hong Kong is so small. They know where your family lives. They know where your parents live or your relatives, and it's just. And even if they're in China, it's just a train ride right across the border. So, there's really no running. So they're a little bit more tight-lipped. I mean, I can't say there's no ratting going on in Hong Kong. They have to be, because some people are cowards. They value their life more than their loved ones, and they'll turn. But less likely because less protection. And this is just my opinion. I don't know. I wasn't locked up in the legal system over there, but I have friends that's over there that tells me,
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
and you don't really see anybody write books about the organized crime in Hong Kong, because in order for them to write a book, like I've read a few books in America talking about different gangs, and they get all their information from trial minutes, newspaper articles, and from what the informant says.
The snitch says, yeah.
Yeah. So they could write a book, but you won't see a book about them over there because they don't have as much informants.
Right.
There still is.
Well,
not as much.
That's why I wrote my book.
Mhm.
That's why I wrote my book. I wrote my book because majority all these books that are written by snitches.
Unfortunately, yes.
And I figured, because I was in a unique situation where my main boss was a rat for 40 fucking years with the FBI, Whitey Bulger, and the other guys became rats. I figured it was about time you got a book a book that should come from the guy who walked the fucking walk and didn't rat. Why not? A guy who stand up has the right and should have the right to say, you know what? I'm tired of these rats. They're always spewing this shit. They're making millions of dollars or whatever they might be making. What about the stand-up guy? Let's talk about how you should act, how you should accept and not be a rat. That's why I decided to write my book.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how, there were a few other books out there that people didn't rat, but I don't know how many more, to be honest with you, because a lot of these books are written by rats. They're not written by the guy who walked the walk.
Yeah. See, John Gotti never wrote a book.
Well, he didn't get a chance, and he wasn't that type of guy anyway.
Yeah. I mean, they don't call him the Dapper Don for nothing. He liked the attention.
Oh, he did.
He's not gonna write a book telling us what he did.
No.
But somebody else would tell stories about him,
Like the guy who testified against him.
Yeah.
Sammy the Bull.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, unfortunately, he made ratting cool.
Sammy did.
He did, because he was a badass. Like, from what I don't know him. I just read stories about him. From what I've read, he was a badass. He was a tough motherfucker. Like, he didn't take shit. But at the end of the day, when you sitting in front of that judge or you sit in that precinct and they tell you, yo, motherfucker, you might never see the streets again, it makes a motherfucker think.
Right.
Anybody can be tough with a gun. Anybody can be tough with a gun. Anybody can be tough with an army behind them. But when you in that precinct or you in that cell, you in there by yourself. And some people care more about their life or than their image or whatever vows that they took. Not saying it's right or wrong. Like, if you're in that lifestyle, then it's wrong. But to society, they don't think it's wrong, because they think that, oh yeah, he's trying to better himself. He's trying to help. No, motherfucker, you're trying to help yourself. You ain't trying to help nobody but yourself.
Trying to save his own ass.
Trying to save your ass.
And fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
That's what rats do. But is there any Asian guys that you looked up to that when you were younger, that might have been involved in that life? What drew you into that more? What was there someone that you looked up to, or guys that were like, you knew they were bosses and you were like, hey, I want to be like that guy. I want to.
Well, watching them Hong Kong gangster movies didn't help, because they make them gangsters look like cool dudes. They're the heroes, like that. It's a whole different culture over there. Like, the anti-hero is worshipped over there. So I grew up watching a lot of John Woo movies, like Chow Yun-Fat, and he's always the bad guy, but he's a bad guy that you love. He's the one that has all the chicks. He's the one that has all the cars and everything, and he has honor. He has integrity, and you look up to that.
Well, that's a big thing in your culture, right? Honor and integrity, right?
It should be in every culture.
But it's a big thing in your culture, right?
Yeah, you can say, yeah. I agree with that. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to face yourself. Like, when I was 16, they told me, they said, yo, you're a small fry. We know you're a small fry. Like, tell us about your boss. Tell about any crimes that you know of and stuff like that. And I'm just looking at him like, y'all don't even fucking speak English. What you asking me this shit for? You know what I'm saying? Because the people that I looked up to was those Hollywood, Hong Kong gangsters, and they was cool. I wanted to be like them. So yeah, no.
So tell me, before you went away, what was it like on the street? What was it like? Were you like, fight with other gang members? Or?
Yeah. In the late '80s and early '90s, if you look at the newspapers in New York City, Chinese kids was getting killed left and right. The Chinese gang culture was huge. That's why the feds came and cleaned it up, because it was getting out of hand. Like every other day, you was having closed casket funerals. You was having people buried in sneakers and jeans because they was too young to wear a suit. It was sad. It was sad.
Now, what was was there a main base? A main base area, like for
Like every gang had their own blocks.
Right.
Like you couldn't go to a certain block.
That's one thing I learned about New York itself.
I love your accent though. Your Boston accent.
One thing
is
I
fucking
learned
amazing.
about New York. Thank you, brother. But in New York, it's more like blocks. You control that block, right?
Because the business, you control the blocks with the most businesses. Because it's sad to say, like Chinese gangs used to prey on their own people because they were easy prey. And like I said, now that I'm older,
so a lot of kickbacks from businesses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you want to stay in business, you want to keep doing well, you want to work.
Not so much that you don't even have to say that. It was already known. Like I never went into a restaurant and said, "Yo, you need to pay me this, and this." Everything's been established like decades before I even thought about being bad. It was part of the culture. Like it was something that is part of doing business in Chinatown. Like you just do it.
So they'd be protected.
Protected, yeah. Because I'd rather be friends with the enemy that I know than the enemies that I don't.
Right.
So that was their mentality. Like if Ghost Shadows was my street and Bay Street, right? So those businesses on those blocks, they knew that if another group came down there, they could call us and we'll come down there and
handle
rectify
business.
shit.
Yeah.
And it's happened. It's happened before. But it's also like, if I don't do it, these guys, they're going to come in here, they're going to scare away my customers, they're going to ruin my business. Like, it's like a small fee, a tax that it was part of doing business in China.
You had to protect your landscape, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it didn't matter who it was, right?
Yeah. It didn't matter who it was. Because if somebody went into that restaurant that was on our block and they didn't want to pay or they was asking for money or whatever, the boss there would make one phone call to the underboss or whoever, and they'll send the soldiers out there to rectify the situation.
So how did that work is it the same as like, would be any other mob where you have a boss, your underboss or whatever?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of in America, at least I know, the second and third generation Americans that was in the organized crime over there, they modeled a lot of their rules and vows off the Godfather, off the Italian mob. They used to call them the Black Hand Group or whatever. I don't know. It was before my time. But a lot of the principles came from them.
So obviously your gang had a certain name.
Yeah, I was a Ghost Shadow.
A ghost shadow.
A Ghost Shadow, yeah.
And what were the other names like?
Yeah, Flying Dragons. You had T.O. You had Born to Kill. You had Folk Ching. Yeah, there was a lot of gangs back then. A lot of gangs. But only a few was like big. Only a few was big. Some was just like street gangs that didn't have a hierarchy and didn't have structure.
They didn't have a structure. They weren't business type related, if you will.
They was just street thugs, robbing shit, extorting shit. And those were the ones that we prevented them from they're like nomads. They didn't have a block.
Right.
They just
Those
go
are
place
the
to
guys
places.
you protected the businesses from.
Yeah. They would go to like other people's gambling parlors and rob them. They would go to restaurants and stick them up or do all type of shit. And like that's what the protection they was paying for.
So that you mentioned something I want to touch on. Gambling parlors.
Mhm.
So gambling parlors, card games, stuff like that.
Card games, dice games, whatever. Like Chinese people, they like to gamble.
Oh yeah, I know
like,
that.
Like you go to Atlantic City, they have a whole section that's just like Asian themed.
They do the same thing in Boston.
MGM, right?
And no, they do it at the Encore in the new casino over there. It's been there for a few years now, but they do it Encore. I tell everybody, I says, well, if you want to rob the Chinese people, I said, burglary in their house, I said, just wait till they all get on the bus to go to Encore.
I went to, and
not that I'm giving any ideas to anybody.
No, that's not what we're about. But by Boston is a city called Springfield, right?
That is right, and they have MGM.
They have MGM,
but they have one in Boston.
Yep.
They have the Encore Hotel, and it's a Wynn Hotel,
Oh.
and it's the casino, and they have the bus that pulls up into Chinatown in Boston, and you see all the Chinese people getting on it to go gamble every day,
and they give them money to go there.
Yeah,
even in New York.
So that's why I said, if you want to rob the people in Chinatown, wait till they all go on the bus to go.
They all go there to gamble. Like gambling is big in our culture, Like I myself, I don't gamble because I know the house always wins.
Listen, I don't really gamble, but I like to gamble. Yeah, I like the
thrill of thinking
of it. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Bookies must love you. I don't gamble because I know you can't win.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't win.
Exactly.
You might win today, but eventually you
look at what's happening now in the sports. I mean, in itself, baseball, look what happened just now with the basketball. You get these guys that they're fixing everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going out because I got a bad toe. That way he didn't score that many, so he could get more.
Yeah. To fuck with the spread.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all fixed.
Can't win.
You can't win. Sports are fixed. I'm telling you, that gambling shit.
Not just
is
sports.
Fixed.
Slot machines. You don't think they could program a slot machine?
Oh, 100%.
Come on.
100%.
I mean, you're gonna have payouts, but
that's okay because they want to do a payout here and there after they already made 10 times the amount.
Yeah, of course. And true gamblers, they know this, but they think they're gonna be the one to hit that payout.
Right.
They think they're gonna hit that
payout. it's the thrill of trying to win. Get that and get it. Yeah. Yep. So when you were there, what was the biggest money maker for you guys?
They had a lot. Sports betting, gambling parlors, massage parlors, like those are big money makers. Extortion. Those are all big money makers.
Yeah. And there's something else I want to I know what I want to ask you. I want to ask you about the Chinese culture and the Chinese community. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty tight-knit community, right? To a certain extent?
To a certain extent, yeah.
Because
more so before than now. Because before, if you only spoke Chinese, of course you're going to be in that community. Like you have people that have been in America 40, 50 years that live in Chinatown that don't speak a lick of English because they don't need to. Why do they need to learn English? They live in a place where everybody speaks Chinese.
Right.
So it prevents them from wanting to learn English because there's no need to.
Right.
So you have to be close-knit. You have to be tight-knit if that's all you deal with.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you about another Asian. Did you ever have was there any ever problems where other Asians were moving in to, and I mean other Asians like Vietnamese or something like that, moving in on the turf, under the Chinese turf?
Yeah.
And there was disagreements and saying, hey, listen, you're not Chinese, you're Vietnamese, and don't think you're gonna get away with it and think you can get away with anything.
Yeah. They had that back in the late 80s. BTK, there was Vietnamese, there's Vietnamese gang, and they was on the outskirts of Chinatown, and they was trying to get in, and they got erased.
Didn't work. It didn't work out for them.
It didn't work out for them. But it also, not only that, they drew so much attention trying to get in that they caught the attention of the feds. At one point, there was two big gangs in New York that got totally wiped out by the feds, but it wasn't on the news because their trial was going on at the same time as John Gotti's trial was going on.
Got it.
So they took all the headlines. But in MCC, which is the federal...
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah. One floor was the Italians, one floor was the BTK, one floor was the Green Dragons. Like, they was getting erased by the federal government. But the general population didn't hear about it because John Gotti's case took all the spotlight.
Yeah, he took all the air out of everything.
If their case wasn't going on at that time, those were two wild gangs that was like, they made so much noise and they was killing so many people that they would have grabbed the headlines, but
sure,
they didn't. And they quietly got erased.
So what was prison like for you?
Prison?
What was it like? Well, I mean, you're
I spoke English, so that helped.
You were a young guy. You went into prison. Were you accepted by other Asian gangsters or? Well,
I didn't really like other Asians. They stuck together when they went to jail, but I'm almost American born, so my mentality was a little bit different. If I wasn't cool with you in the streets, I'm not gonna be cool with you in jail. I've been shot twice already. Y'all motherfuckers try to kill me. How can I break bread with you and hang out with you or sit on the same court with y'all when we was trying to kill each other before? Like, I can't forget that. All right, maybe it wasn't you, so I ain't got no beef with you, but your boy tried to kill me, so why the fuck am I gonna hang out with you for? So I didn't. I hung out with who I wanted to hang out with. So I had more non-Asian friends than Asian friends.
So you basically walked your walk.
Yeah.
You were your own man and did your own thing in prison.
Yeah.
You said, I'm going to accept who's around me. Yeah. I don't care if you're Asian or not.
I don't give a fuck what race you are.
I am going to be the judge and who I associate and sits with me.
Yeah. I mean, you could say I was racist towards my own people because if you was in a gang that I had beef with, there's no way we're gonna be friends. There's no way we're gonna sit down together and talk. I might not pop off on you, but I'm not gonna help you if somebody's stomping your head in. For what? Why? Because we're Chinese? At the end of the day, we're all human. We're all human. So because you're Chinese don't mean I have to stick up for you if we're not friends. And I can't be friends with my enemy. I can't.
Got it.
Not everybody thinks like me, though.
Yeah, but if somebody's trying to hurt you and they're trying to do that on the street, you're going to think about that same.
I'm always going to remember that.
You're going to remember that. Exactly.
I almost died twice before I went to jail. So
exactly.
I can't accept that.
It's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Brother.
No, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if we're the only two Asians in the whole jail. I don't need you. I don't need you to stand on my own.
So you did your time. You're getting more trouble. Yeah. And you got more time on top of your time. Mm-hmm. What were those things that you get in trouble for?
Cuttings, stabbings, assault on staff, promoting prison contraband, stuff that I shouldn't be doing, bad stuff.
Yeah, but maybe you had to do that. Maybe you had to cut someone because you had to protect yourself. Maybe you had to stab somebody because you had to protect yourself and you had a reputation that you had to uphold.
Reputation that you had to uphold. And also, you're only as good as your last one. Like, okay, you cut and stabbed some dudes 10 years ago. Why should I respect you? Why should I fear you? You did that shit 10 years ago. Like, you're only as good as your last one. So every now and then you still got to put on a show. Even if you have no beef with nobody. Like, there was times that I wake up and I'm like, I'm tired of this fucking jail. I'm gonna blow the spot. I'm gonna go out and I'm pick somebody that I don't like or whatever. Pick somebody and he's my scapegoat to vent out my frustration.
That happened to me. And I was in Milan, Michigan, outside of Detroit. And this gangbanger came in and there weren't many white guys in that prison. I would say there was maybe two in the section that I was in, and the gangbanger come in from Chicago, and he wanted to prove himself to his boys inside. So he figured he seen me. Maybe he thought I was white and I was soft, and that he could take advantage, and he was gonna make a name for himself. Well, that didn't work out well for him. I can tell you that right now.
Picked the wrong person.
He picked the wrong person.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I understand the mentality. That's why I say that. That's why I wanted to interject that.
Yeah.
Yes, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes you just like, fuck it. I'm fucking angry. I don't want to be here anymore.
I'm just gonna blow the spot.
I'm gonna blow the spot.
Yeah. And you know
If
what?
they move me, I don't give a fuck.
I want them to move me.
I want them to move me. And this is the only way I'm gonna get moved, because they won't move me otherwise.
Yeah. I'm not eligible for a transfer or whatever. All right, I'm not eligible for transfer. I'm gonna make you transfer me. I'm
Right.
gonna make you transfer me.
Right.
No,
Because
what are
you
you
need a
gonna do?
new environment.
What are you gonna do? Put me in jail?
Because that you need a new environment, because where you were was getting old and stagnant.
Yeah, far from home, not getting no visits because I'm so far away. And why should I be here? Why should I be here?
Right.
Find a reason to leave.
Right.
It's very immature. Again, I was young back then, and
Well, I wouldn't say it's immature. I beg to differ with that. What happened is you were put in a predicament where the government, the state, if you wanted to be home, closer to home, and you asked and they said, fuck you, right? Hold on. Fuck you. You say, okay. Doesn't work that way with these fuckers. So guess what? I'm going to make it work my way then.
yeah.
So what they're actually doing, in my eyes, is they're putting you in a predicament to act out like that. Where they should have might have said, when a guy like you comes to them, says, hey, I'd like to go closer to home. I want to transfer me to another prison so I'm closer to home because of my, I want to see my mother, my father, or my brothers, and my sister, whatever, my cousin, my friend. I want more visits, because I don't want to go off in this prison because I'm getting tired of this. And I'm doing my time like a man. And they say, it's not how it works. You're staying where you are. All right, motherfuckers. They're putting you and they're forcing you to act out. My opinion.
I mean, I see your point. There's truth to that. But in New York State, you had to qualify for transfer closer to home. And at that time, I didn't qualify. You had to stay out of trouble for a year, positive programming and stuff like that. And I was still living the street mentality lifestyle where I wanted it my way. I wanted it now. I don't want to wait, So that's why I said it was immature of me. I mean, yeah, I could have went about it a different way. I could have been patient. I could have did the right thing. But again, my mentality was, I'm already in jail. Why do I have to follow the rules? What are you going to do? Arrest me? I'm already locked up.
And you were young.
And I was young. Like, when I went back in the second time, I was not like that. I was, I learned that there's life outside of the streets. When I went to jail, I wasn't old enough to vote. I wasn't even old enough to join the army. Like, I was 16 years old. I never even went to a prom.
So let me ask you, when you were 16, you went to that major prison.
Yep.
You were killers, men.
Yep.
Older men, adults.
Yeah.
At 16.
Yeah. I was in prison with, look, when I was like 17, 18 years old, I was in jail with Ronnie DeFeo. That's the guy from the Amityville Horror. Colin Ferguson, he was the Long Island Railroad shooter that killed 17 people. David Berkowitz, Mark Chapman. Like, you had like real live monsters around, you know what I'm saying? And
you were 16.
17 when I went up there.
16, 17.
Yeah. And, you got to.
Do you think, a question, do you think that was right by the government, the state, take a young man that, yeah, fine, you did what you did, but you think it was smart? Do you think they weren't helping you by putting you in with those type of individuals?
No, wasn't helping. But you know what? In their eyes, I was a monster as well. So what do you do with monsters? You put monsters together and let them kill each other. So maybe that was their mentality. Maybe that was the agenda. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I wasn't an angel, so I never asked for sympathy. Yeah, I went to prison when I was 16, but I don't deserve no sympathy because I didn't go there for jumping the turnstile. I went there because I took somebody else's life, and I deserved to be there at that time. Even regardless of my age, I did what I shouldn't have done.
Yeah, but let me ask you something about that. If you didn't do what you did, what would have happened to you?
Quite possibly, the shoes could have been reversed, and he would have
you'd be dead.
Yeah, but now that I'm older and I know the value of life, there's way more different. I have way more different options. I could have walked away. I could have ran. I could have did a lot of things that I didn't do. Now, I wish I would have did that. And the truth is, I wish that day when I pulled that gun out, I wish that gun would have blew my hand off and backfired and blew my hand off, because at least I would have learned that, no matter what you do, there's no excuse for taking another man's life, because you only have one and you can't take that back. You can never take that back. So I did what I did. I would never glorify it.
Even if it's do or die?
Even if it's do or die. But now, the way I think now, even if it's do or die. Even if it's do or die, because you're not just hurting him. He has family too.
Sure.
So you hurt his family. Like, his family didn't do nothing to deserve that type of pain. His family didn't deserve to feel that type of hurt. Okay, he was gangbanging, I was gangbanging. We both deserve it, but our families don't deserve that. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's tough for my mom too, knowing that her son, 16 years old, is in prison, locked away, and might never come home. And I don't think it was fair for her. Just like I don't think it's fair for the victim's family as well. Now, I feel that way. I didn't feel like that before. Like, life has taught me you only have one. You got to treasure it, and you just can't go do what you want to do anymore. It's not the Wild Wild West no more.
What if somebody...
I mean, it's not a sexy thing to say. It's not cool to be like this, but it's the truth, though. It's the truth. That's how I feel now.
So I feel this way. I feel this way for you at that point in time, if we can go back to the future, if you will, back in time in the past. I feel as though that you were in a predicament that if you didn't do what you did, you wouldn't be sitting right here right now.
I wouldn't. But I put myself in that predicament. I didn't have to be in that predicament. I put myself in that predicament. I got nobody to blame but myself.
See, now I'm getting to the point where I want people to understand, because I understand at the point if it's do or die, I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't have to be there, that's the difference.
That's the difference, yes. Because I put
That's
myself
the
in
difference.
I wasn't forced. Like, nobody put a gun to my head and say, hey, you got to join a gang. Nobody put a gun to my head and say, yo, you have to carry this gun. Like, I made those decisions on my own. Even though I didn't know better, but still, I made that decision. I made that conscious decision. I wasn't tricked into the gang. I wasn't like lied to join the gang. I chose that lifestyle. I wanted to be in a gang. So yeah, at the end of the day, I have nobody to blame but myself,
And you took full responsibility.
And I took full responsibility for that. I didn't rat on nobody. I did the time, kept my mouth shut, didn't say nothing. That's why I did as much time as I did. And that's why even when I came out, people know. Like, well, don't come out in the wash, we'll come out in the rinse. If you rat, people are gonna know. And the streets is gonna know, and then not even if you don't look for their acceptance, they're gonna shun you, they're gonna ostracize you, So luckily I never had to go through that, But again, when you choose to be in the lifestyle, you have you take it seriously. If you say you have honor and integrity and loyalty, like, it's crazy. You know, one example of loyalty that I was shown, and I didn't even know him like that. But when I seen that, I was like, man, that's somebody that's really admirable and stuff like that. Like there was this guy, he was locked up, and him and his co-defendant did what they did, and he went home. He went home and he got a record deal. He signed and everything. He was on his way. He was on his way. The minute he found out that his co-defendant got sick, even though he knew he wasn't allowed to be, while he was on parole, he wasn't allowed to go visit his co-defendant. But he still went up there to visit him, and they violated him and made him do a year after he signed the deal, after he signed everything. He has so much to lose, but his loyalty to his comrade superseded everything. And that's very admirable. Very admirable. And he's doing his thing right now. He's doing real good. Like
Awesome.
you might know him. You might know of him. He's a rapper named Mano.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mano. Bro, what he showed me when I seen him, we was in the same jail when he got violated. And we didn't even know each other like that. But I know why he got violated. Everybody knew. It was in the news. And he got violated because he went to go see his co-defendant while he was on parole. He has so much to lose. But his loyalty and integrity was so strong that he still went up there to visit him, knowing that his co-defendant might not make it or whatever the case may be. He still went up there to visit him, knowing that when he came back, they was going to arrest him and they was going to violate him. And they made him do a year violation for that. After doing 10 years, they made him do a year violation.
And he knew that was going to happen.
And he knew that was going to happen. And he still went up there.
He didn't give a fuck.
He didn't give a fuck.
His loyalty,
that's loyalty.
Because his loyalty was to his man.
To his friend.
His friend.
His friend, his comrade, the person that he did his crime with. That's loyalty. You know, like people throw that term around all the time. Oh, I'm loyal. But it's actions like that. And I know he doesn't talk about it. He don't brag about it because it's hard to brag about yourself, you know. But I know the story. I know that's a big example of loyalty and integrity, you know.
Yeah, beautiful to him.
Yeah, and I wish I knew more people like that was loyal and strong like that back then, you know.
Right.
I mean, that takes a lot. Like after doing so much time, knowing that you're on your way to doing big things and still voluntarily make that sacrifice, you know. Anybody can be cool when times is good.
He basically lied on the sword for him.
Yeah. Just in case. Because I don't know how sick he got, but I've heard stories. Just in case, he still went up there. I mean, what does that say about...
Yeah.
That's loyalty.
That's solid.
That's solid.
That's solid.
And I respect
solid.
I respect that so much. Like, I've met a lot of people in prison, and that's one person when I seen, I was like, wow, that's loyalty.
Let me ask you a question about, you did a second bit.
Yeah.
5.5 years?
I got sentenced to 7 years, and I did 5.5 years, yeah.
Why?
I was coming out of a birthday party, one of my friends, one of my homegirls' birthday, and the girl that I was with at that time, we had an argument, we was arguing, and some guy walked in between us and kind of brushed up on her or whatever. I said something, words was exchanged, and I punched him in the face. And he fell and cracked his head, and he got seriously hurt. And I went back away for that.
So they gave you 7.5 years
7
of
years.
cracking some guy in the fucking face that fell down, that hurt himself.
Yeah, but he never would have fell if I didn't hit him.
But my point is, 7.5 years of fucking punching someone in the face and them falling down and hurting themselves? It sounds a little harsh of a sentence to me. Maybe a year or two? But 7.5?
They sentenced me to 7 years.
Okay, but you still had to do the
5.5 years.
5.5 years
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
That's my point. I think that, you know, he didn't die, right?
No.
And he was, you know, come out of his injuries okay, right?
No.
He didn't.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he didn't. So, you know, he has serious injuries behind that.
From that.
From that. So, and believe me when I tell you, I feel guilty for a lot of things I did, but that was one of the biggest things I feel so guilty about, because he wasn't from the streets. No, regardless of what transpired, he wasn't from the streets. Like, he wasn't in that street lifestyle where he deserved that. Like I said, I didn't know when my last bid. I didn't really learn because I was young. I thought it was okay. In prison, that's how we handle our problems.
Right.
You say something wrong, you disrespect me, I'm gonna crack you.
Yeah, because you have to maintain that
Yeah.
reputation.
So I never should have brought that prison lifestyle to the streets. And like, again, I have so many things I regret. That is right there on the top of my list.
As much as you might regret about it, brother, I just want to say one thing. You can look in the mirror and say, even though I did wrong, I still accepted full
Oh
responsibility.
yeah. I took full responsibility for
And
that.
you still live with that responsibility.
As I should, because the law prevents me from reaching out to them, right? But if I could, if there's anything I could do, I would. I would help. I would help out, because it's a tragic event that shouldn't have happened. And if I was a better man, maybe it wouldn't have happened, you know? And I'm striving to be a better man since then, because I don't want this to ever happen again. You know, I don't want it to happen to me. I don't want it to happen to anybody I love. I don't want it to happen to a stranger, because nobody deserves that, you know? And again, like I said, the law prevents me from reaching out, but I'm very sorry for that, you know?
So basically, you're apologizing to them.
Yes. Through your platform, if they can hear me, I hope they know that it was never my intent for this to happen as serious as it did. Yes, I intended to punch him in the face. Not going to sugarcoat it. But I never intended for the extent of his injuries.
And to hurt him that bad.
And to hurt him that bad. And, you know, I'm sorry. I mean, I know it's just words, but trust me when I tell you, I live with that guilt every day. I live with that guilt every day, because his wife was pregnant at the time. You know, he had a kid, but his kid will never get to know the person that he was since the accident. And like I said, I live with that every day. It eats me up every day, because he was not from the streets. He was not from the streets. You know, if he was a gangbanger or he was just like me, hey, it is what it is. You live that lifestyle, you deserve it. But he wasn't, you know. So again,
And
sorry.
And you want to know something? There's no reason to be sorry, brother. I feel you. But the reason why you're feeling the way you're feeling is because you really care inside. Deep inside, you really care. That's why you're feeling that. I know you are.
Yeah, I do care. If I could take that day back, I wish I could. You know. But that's, unfortunately, we have to keep on living.
Yeah,
we have to keep on living.
Of course, brother.
You know. But I'm if I'm ever successful and I have the means to do it, I would like, because he had brain damage. So, you know, I would like to volunteer for help, to help people, not him, but other people that have severe brain trauma or whatever charitable organizations I could get involved with. I'm all for it. Even now, if any of these type of organizations that help people with traumatic brain injuries and everything, I would love to volunteer and talk and speak to people and not make it right, because nothing I can do can make it right, but try to help out and prevent this from ever happening to somebody, and maybe help somebody that's going through this similarly, you know?
Or maybe just reaching out right now and saying, you guys are from the street. You know how tough you are. You know how strong you are. You know the mentality you have. Just try to keep that in check, and
Yeah.
And don't let don't take it out on the people that that aren't like us.
So yes, exactly. You hit it right on the nose, right? people that are not like us should not be treated like us. No, I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there, because
No, I get it. I get where you're coming from, and I actually, it's another side of you and another side of you're being very vulnerable right now. And you know what? I appreciate that because it shows the depth that you really have, and that depth isn't something that you really learned. I'm going to tell you that right now, my opinion. That depth has always been there. You just haven't ever really brought it out.
and it's sad that it took a tragic event to bring it out. I wish it would have came out earlier. I wish it would have came out 30 years ago. But thank you for saying that. I wish it would have came out a long, long time ago, because I've heard a lot of people, and now I know nightmares don't go away. Nightmares don't go away.
Oh, I know, brother. I know that well. Trust me. I know that well.
Yeah. But it's not just because of nightmares that make you regret stuff, like you grow up, sometimes you just have to grow up. And unfortunately, I never grew up until my second bid, because when I went in there, I had kids, I had a family, I had a lot of things going for me, and I threw it all away. And my regret is not losing all that stuff. It's like I told you, my biggest regret is the pain that I have caused everybody that was involved in this.
There's someone I want to ask you about that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Somebody that was really good to you and was always there for you. You were telling me earlier about it, I believe. An individual.
Oh yeah, my friend. I went to his birthday party yesterday. Yeah, he's always been good to me, and he's not from the streets. I met him on set. We got casted on a show together 10 years ago.
You're doing acting too.
Yes, I'm an actor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing now for
Yes,
main
that's
business?
what I do. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What movies have you been in with, and who with?
Oh, I was in Snakehead. In Snakehead, I was there with Sung Kang. He's Han from Fast and the Furious.
Sure, yep.
He's not only a mentor to me because he taught me a lot about acting. He's also a friend. When I was locked up this time, he came to visit me twice while I was locked up. So I've had people that I've known all my life that never came up to visit me when I was in jail. But I met this man on set, and I played his little brother, little sidekick in the movie. So we developed a bond from the months that we was on set together, and he got to know who I was, and all this happened after my case. So he already knew about my case, but maybe he saw something in me that was good enough for him to befriend me.
Exactly.
And he's been such a good friend to me as well. And
I can see that.
That movie's called Snakehead. It's about human trafficking. It's based on a true story. It's based on Sister Ping, who was the main human trafficker in Chinatown. Like in 1993, remember that boat that crashed off of on the Golden Venture?
Sure, yeah. Yep.
She got indicted for that. And this movie's loosely based on her life.
Based off of that.
Yeah. Another movie I was in was called Killer Man. Liam Hemsworth was in the movie. He was the star of the movie. I was his road dog. I was his running mate in the movie. We was money launderers. And I don't want to give the plot of the movie because it's a really good plot.
Awesome.
But if you ever get a chance to watch it, watch Snakehead, watch Killer Man.
I will.
You have to pay for it though. It's on Amazon Prime. And,
I get all that stuff anyway.
One of the first movies I did was called Midnight Driver, and that's available on YouTube because it was a low budget indie project.
So your life now is blessed. After all the tragedy and all the hard stuff that you've gone through, you have a better life now, right?
Yeah, I would say that.
You're not looking behind your back like I am no more. You're not committing any crimes.
No,
you're not doing any violence.
Even the person that ratted me out on this case, if I see him now, I would just walk right by him. Like, hey, you did me a favor. You helped me grow up. So, I mean, I thought he was a good friend. Like, he was an ex-Ghost Shadow member as well. And I don't even know why he told on me. Like, the police came up to his house because it was his wife's birthday. And they asked his wife, "Hey, do you know this guy?" And his wife was like, "Yo, I was drunk. I don't remember." But then as the police was leaving, and all this came out in my trial, I never even would have known about this unless I went to trial. And at trial, I found out that as the police was leaving, he told the police, "Hey, come here. She don't remember who he is, but just Google his name. His name is Richie Ng. You'll find him." And that came out in trial. See, like I said, what don't come out in the wash will come out in the rinse.
Right.
Yeah. And, I had a side of me wanted to come and expose him. But you know what? I'm going to be the bigger man. And I'm not saying that I forgive him or whatever. It is what it is.
You want to let all that go, but you're not forgetting about it.
I won't forget about it. But to me, it's over. You did me a favor.
Got it.
You did me a favor. You woke me up. Because
your life is better now and you're smarter now.
I learned.
You learned.
I learned to try to be a better person. I wasn't before. So it is what it is.
Well, I can't say how honored I am to have you on.
Oh, no.
No,
the
seriously.
honor and pleasure is all mine.
Because I know that
you.
I know that you won't go on a rat show.
No.
Or people who bring rats on.
No.
I know that. And I appreciate that. I ask all my people that I bring on at the end, through all the hardship that you've gone through in your life, you learn. So if you haven't been through it, so how can you ever give any advice, right?
Yeah.
What's the best advice that you could give someone in life?
Somebody that's an at-risk youth about to make the same mistake as I made. Not everybody gets a second chance. I've been blessed to have a second chance, but sometimes one event can change your whole life, and it won't only change your life. Everybody that loves you's life, you will change. You will vastly affect everybody that loves you. Forget about the victim and the people that love them. The people that love you will pay the biggest price, because it's not easy to go visit your son, your brother, your sister in prison, to stand in line, to be humiliated, to have your mom take her bra off because it rang. Like a 60-year-old woman, you're making them take her bra off because she wants to visit her son because there's a metal thing on her. Like, before you do anything, think about the people you love. Even if you don't love yourself, which everybody should love themselves, but even if you don't love yourself, think about the people you love and how you will drastically change their life, their whole lifestyle. And hopefully that could change a person's mindset to not do what you're going to do. But you're not only hurting yourself. When you get arrested, your whole family gets arrested. There's a stigma on your whole family, stigma to everybody that loves you. And when they come to visit you, they're going to be treated the same way they treat you in there. They treat you like an animal. They're going to treat your family like they're an animal as well, because they're coming to visit you. And think about that. Maybe that could deter somebody from making the same mistakes we made. You're not just hurting yourself. You're hurting everybody that loves you. Everybody that ever had believed in you. Everybody that ever cared about you. You're vastly affecting their life forever. It's not something that's going to just go away, because it's something they have to carry with them as well. Because every mom is going to think, damn, what did I do wrong for my son to behave this way? So it's not just you. It's not you, my man. It's everybody that loves you. And hopefully that can make people think twice before they do what they plan to do.
The old saying is, once you pull that trigger, you can't retrieve that bullet.
Yeah, you can't. It's the same thing with words. It's like toothpaste. Once you push that toothpaste out, you can't put that shit back in the tube. That shit is out. That shit is out forever.
Well, I think you've given some great advice.
Thank you. And you bring it out of me. Your interviewing skills was what brought this stuff out. I didn't even when I came here with the intentions of exposing this rat motherfucker that told on me. But you know what? You bring out a side of me that I didn't know I wanted to share. This is the first time I've ever, like, I did a few interviews already. This is the first time I ever really, like, felt what I felt and said what I said. Like, you could look at all my past interviews. I've never said none of this stuff. And I don't know why I said it today, but I don't know, Red. Maybe it's a testament to your abilities, you know?
Well, all I know, it's been a great interview. I'm honored to have you on.
I was honored to be here.
I'm so honored that you said what you said in the end.
No, the honor's mine.
Love you, brother.
Thank you, bro.
So, Richie, I want to say one thing. I've had a lot of people that come on the show so far, that every one of my people that come on have tremendous integrity. Your integrity right now is up here.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell you why.
Coming from you.
I'm going to tell you why. Because you just were vulnerable. And I haven't had anybody like that on my show yet. You showed how you actually cared about the things that you committed or did. You showed the vulnerableness that you felt sorry and pain for the people that you hurt. I haven't had that on my show yet. And especially coming from someone who accepts full responsibility. And by you saying all that and being that vulnerable, dude, there's no more than accepting full responsibility.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, like I said, I didn't come here with the intentions of saying that. It just came out. Like, we was just talking and you know, I love your energy and you bring it out. You bring it out. I didn't even know it was there.
Well, I want to just say one thing. Thank you for your integrity, but thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for showing your heart. That heart of yours it's inside there, brother. It's always been inside there. You found it. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.